Okay, we are ready to go. Hello, everyone. This is Jessie Bowen coming back to you on day 3. We are celebrating our 1-year anniversary of the Becoming Author podcast. Now, we started a year ago, just sharing some information about how to write books. Now, a lot of the people that we've shared it with have written their books, and now I think our new word here is rock stars in the publishing business. And, I got my co-host here, the brilliant, the genius, I got to figure out some more words to use to describe her, but we have Natalie, my co-host here. She is the executive director of International Best-Selling Authors Books. And we're all here in part because of the success that our books have achieved. And again, this is the thing about having a team. You see at the top here, Elite Publications and Legacy. We've combined our working efforts into one company to really make some things happen. So Natalie, hey, welcome. I know you've got a guest. She's going to have to hop off. So I'm going to switch it over to you, Natalie, and you can chat and then introduce her. And hey, we're going to kick it off. But everyone, hey, listen, we're excited. Remember, everyone has a story. You just have to get it out. On you, Natalie.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We're so excited to have what I call our author rock stars on board here. I'd like to introduce first Nadia Gilkes. We worked together years ago to get her book out. And what I would love, Nadia, to introduce yourself and stuff, but we need to brag about your book launch, because your book launch was so inspiring to me that I would show pictures to all my other authors. So welcome, Nadia.
Thank you so much. So glad to be here, meet all the other fellow authors. This is an amazing event, and I am thrilled to be working with you again. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So tell us where you're calling in from and what your book is about, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So my name is Nadia Gilkes. I'm here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I've been living here for about 7 years. My book is called Woke Up Dead. It's a fiction book. You can find that on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles. And it's about a woman that wakes up at her own funeral. There's a lot of chaos, as you can imagine. And after the dust settles, she really has this moment with herself to reflect. Was she really living the life that she loved? Or is it time to pivot and do something else now that she has a second chance? And leaning on my attorney background and being passionate about estate planning documents, the parting message is really, do you have everything written out that you need to have? Do you have your end of life documents together? Of course, when I go around and speak on just that, people don't want to listen. Nobody wants to think about it. So I tried to wrap all of that into a humorous story, and it really seemed to hit the mark. So I'm excited about the project still.
Absolutely. And it's all about legacy and how you build it, how you live it, and then how you leave it, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, do you have one of your books with you?
I do. I have, I don't, with the background, hopefully you could see it.
Yep.
But when you find that online, it's recording in progress. Perfect. So it's that yellow cover with that funeral wreath on the front. Wanted to make that really cute and fun. And yeah, people have enjoyed it. I've gotten great feedback from it.
Tell us a little bit about your book launch.
Well, I'm a little bit extra. So for my book launch, which was thankfully right before the pandemic, so I was able to do something, I put together a nice dinner and people came dressed as if they were going to a funeral. I didn't even direct them. They just kind of did it based on the name of the book. I had a friend of mine who is the principal of a Catholic school, and he served as the facilitator. He opened up with a prayer and kind of led us through a little bit of a service. And a friend of mine who's a funeral director, he said, "Hey, do you need me to bring a casket?" And I'm like, Heck yeah, I need you to bring a casket. So he bought a casket and I put all my little gift bags in there. We had it decorated really cute.
They were
I had
beautiful.
programs that looked like a funeral program for the launch of the book. And he actually got up and he gave a nice presentation just asking people about their end of life plans and just from a funeral director's perspective, highlighting what needs to be written, what happens with families are fighting, and just again driving home the point that if you have something specific and certainly something off the beaten path, you need to write it down and preferably fund it if you can yourself so that you do have your end of life wishes honored.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So tell us something about your author journey. Was it scary for you? Did it take you a while? Did you have encouragement and you were just going for it? Just give us a little picture of how that went.
Well, I am a control freak, and so I did a lot of research. I found a lot of packages from people that have an indie company and they offer to assist you. And I just said to myself after all the research, I really want a little more control than giving someone $2,000 and saying, handle the book cover, handle the interior design and all of that. So I learned a lot along the way because I ended up taking up a lot of that myself. So there were literally blood, sweat, and tears going into this book by the end of that journey. But I learned a lot and I was able to guide others along the way after I completed mine, just because you learn so much about ISBNs and different book covers and themes for your book launch and the marketing that comes after it. And I tell everyone, writing the book is the easiest part. When you start to market it, that's a whole other animal. And that's what led me to your door.
Absolutely. And most people aren't or don't have the skill or the drive to do a lot of that stuff on their own. And I'm glad that you came to us for some marketing and we got to help you and got to experience your beautiful book launch.
Yes, thank you. #1 status because of you and your company. So I was really, really thrilled.
Thank you. Jessie, is there anything else you would like to ask Nadia?
Well, Nadia, one thing I definitely would like to do is to have you on one of my other podcasts, because that is a major issue, you know, with people failing to plan for their end. You know, it's going to happen, so don't be afraid of it. You know, it's something that you really have to do, and we have to move out of that mindset. So I'm definitely interested in going on and getting your book and definitely having you back on another show. But this is what we're talking about. We have this knowledge, and the things that you're talking about, someone else needs to know. They can probably find the answer to that in their book, you know, because death is a thing that happens every day. And did you plan for it? You know, and most people, they don't want to recognize that that is a possibility. They're afraid their law of attraction will bring it to them before their time is up.
Right.
But you know, the family infighting and all those things, you know, but definitely we want to bring you back. And how do we get your book?
It's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. So you can just type in Woke Up Dead by Nadia Gilkes, and that should lead you to my book.
And we have her book link, and we will put it in the show notes.
All right, that is great. So, you know, thank you for being on. I know you have to jump off, but I just want to say that it's such a pleasure to meet you. And, you know, this is the thing, Natalie, that I find in common with all the people that we've had to work with, all the authors. They're phenomenal people, and they all have something really great that about them. And, you know, the courage to take that step and to put it into words and to go out and seek, you know, knowledge that can help them to be able to write their books. And as you said, writing is your easiest part. If you don't want to be a giant doorstop, then you have to get in the hands of the readers. And again, you know, we've been able to find that way to be able to make those things happen. So again, congratulations, but definitely, you know, I will be reaching back out to you because, you know, this is a topic that, and your book and how to be able to help people on their journey. And that's what the books are about. So thank you for being on.
Thank you. I look forward to joining you on your podcast. I look forward to watching this recording and learning from all of the other authors here. It is quite a feat that a lot of people dream about and they don't actually get to accomplish it. So I am so proud of each and every one of you, and I can't wait to read your stories as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadia.
All right, awesome. That is so awesome. Everyone, this is the thing that we're talking about and we're excited about. And when we started Elite Publications, it was because basically we created so much success personally through our books that, hey, God gave me a vision, says, share it. And so that's what we made a mission to do. And in that path, we have come across, people like Natalie, like Jim, and like Buddy and Jessica, and everyone on our team is sort of that perfect match that doesn't get any better. We're small enough that everybody gets personal attention, that we solve your problems. We don't drop you off in the wilderness with your book. We are personal. We hold you accountable, and a lot of companies don't do that. Pay me, and it's your book. Write it whenever you want to write it. So Natalie, this is that new fun part that we're getting ready to go to now. And this is talking about anthologies and co-authors and compilations. And, you really are the one that introduced this to Elite by some of the things that you're doing. And, our rest of our guests, with Darell and Maggie and Kim, they are part of our new launch, the book that broke the internet.
Yeah, that's right.
The book that broke the internet, and that is the Elite Martial Artists in America compilation book. And if I tell the stats, it sounds like I'm bragging, but Natalie, if you share the stats, that makes it makes it official. And and everyone going in, we have 25 co-authors of this book. Each story is amazing. And when we introduce our guests here today, you'll sort of see some of these amazing people that have contributed just one chapter. And the book focused on elite martial arts in America, the secrets to life, the secrets to leadership, and the secrets to business. So this is the first book I have read that offered something for every part of my life. I look at, can you advise me or give me, how can I become a better person? That's under the secrets of life. Then, as a leader, how can I become better? What makes you, when you're a great leader and you're a great leader and you're a great leader, when all that comes together, I learned from that experience of reading about what they're doing that's made them successful. And then we come back and we look at the secrets of business. We have quite a few, martial artists that are business leaders or really, the success of the martial arts. But in our compilation books, anyone can write a compilation book and to bring people together. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, Natalie. You can tell us about our stats, and you're sort of the brainchild of this. And I'm a follower, but hey, I'm one of those people go, I'm with you, Natalie. Whatever you say, we're gonna jump off the cliff, Natalie. I'm gonna run over there to the edge and I'm jumping too.
Well, hopefully we have a soft landing. But I love compilation books or anthologies, as they're called, for so many different reasons. It brings different people together, different voices into a belief, a celebration, an experience, and gets it out to the world. And so you get a little piece of getting to meet so many different authors in one book. So I love that part of it. And then I love when we do things like this and bring the authors together, and all of a sudden, Kim is maybe doing something with Maggie, and there may be a joint venture activity or promotion or something that you can work together on and kind of lift each other up. And that's what I love about meeting different authors, helping each other share each other's voices. Like Nadia, for example, like my background and my experience ended up with a company called Gifts of Legacy. And I'm all about, what legacy, what experience have you had in life? And you put it somewhere where it can be continually shared. And a book is a perfect place. And a compilation book is a phenomenal place to dip your toe in and start. So I love that. And this book, every time I do a bestseller launch, I strive to get the most categories that will draw the readers to your book. It's not the most categories that you can just get in, because you don't want to pull in basket weaving and it's about business. That's not going to make sense, and Amazon would never allow that. But there's lines. And so what we do is really dive deep into the people that are in the book, and then the readers who would want to pick your book up and what countries would it do best in. And when we put all those together, we end up with a beautiful book launch. And this book, I think, let's see if I can have screen share, I will show a picture, but we did 74 categories of, let's see here, right here, 74 total achievements, which was 38 hot new releases in US, Canada, and Australia, and 36 number one best-selling categories in the US, Canada, and Australia. And that's phenomenal in so many reasons, because it gets all of you in front of different people's audiences in different countries. And it really gives, when we talked about marketing, it gives that momentum of being seen. And now we need to continue that momentum. But it was really funny, because I had one other gentleman, and his book, I believe, had 71 or 73. And Jessie's like, we're so close to being the top. And I said, I have no control over that. Like, let's push out the marketing and see what we can do. And sure enough, it hit. But so congratulations to all of you for being part of
that's
that.
really big.
Yeah.
And and that's what we're talking about now, is having fun at being successful.
Exactly.
Having fun while being successful. I mean, that's what you do, because if you enjoy something and you put your heart into it, and especially in the writing part, and because we have all these tools that help in the writing part, it sort of really helps it to be able, we support. And all of our authors, they really did a great job. And I'm going to take and start that interview and just sort of ask that question. I think I'm going to start with Maggie and give you that opportunity to introduce yourself and tell us what chapter you wrote in the book, and tell us about the writing journey. And I do want to say that, Maggie, we actually officially met in July, I think was our first official meeting at the Who's Who Legends Awards ceremony. And so Maggie, she had already written a book that we're re-releasing for. She's got a new book coming up. Then she's focusing in our other books. And I can already see, she's already got people coming online buying the books. I'm saying, no, don't tell them yet.
We're not ready yet.
Already showing up.
We're not ready.
We're not through with the website yet. I just want to see it. But I'm going, no, stop them, tell them to quit.
That's
but
great when you have to slow things down.
well, that's what we're talking about, is that, she hasn't finished writing her book, but people are already biting at the bits to get a copy of their book or a book. They want it first. So, her book is still in our pre-launch phase. Website, that her author website just went up. So Maggie is automatically creating success. And, I've watched Maggie and her business and everything else. She's great. Let me let Maggie talk about herself a little bit.
Hi, how are you? It's always good to see you, Jessie. Yeah, so as far as the compilation book, writing,
Let's start with your name. Where
Oh,
you're
okay,
from.
that.
Let's start.
All right.
I just did a part
Hey,
of it.
she's already selling books. She thinks everyone already knows her.
Yeah, so my name's Maggie Messina. I was born in New York, raised in New York. I have a martial arts school, one of the first women generations to have a school and own it and run it as a woman. Absolutely love what I do. It's like a great love affair. I'm married. I have one adopted son. He was my student, and my husband and I took him in. And and so I wrote my first book in 2011, which took me years to write and more years to release, just out of nervousness. I wasn't really happy with the process. I just felt like, as you had said in the beginning, I didn't feel like I had any control. And so that was a big problem for me, because then when it was released, it wasn't released exactly how I had wished it was. And meeting Jessie and having been through that process, knowing how expensive it is and how the whole thing unraveled and felt, I knew right away that Elite Publications was the place for me. And that's also with my previous experiences with the project. So, again, like I said in the beginning, I absolutely love what I do. I'm a person of passion. Sometimes that passion can be mistaken for something else, like the rest of us in the world. And I'm like really excited about the book I'm working on now. It's dedicated to my 3 siblings that unfortunately passed away during COVID. And, it's about a broken system, and it's my wish to make a strong impact on change. I know a lot of people have tried to change the system or make some type of impact, but the impact is never great enough where we continue to lose children in that system, in the hands of their parents, foster parents, so on and so forth. So, what else do you want to know?
Well, I think it's really great. And I'll just pick up the book. And what was your title in the book, your chapter? What was it?
It's Tattered Laces. And where that name comes from is when we were children, growing up very poor, we always had a problem with our laces. They were always breaking, and, it was just, was always something that was in the forefront of being poor. And then, people may not look at a broken shoelace in a sneaker as a big deal, but as a child, and you're poor, that is a very big deal, because people center and gravitate towards that shoe. And the rest of your day is their happy place and your place in hell, through bullying and all that stuff. So,
Well, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about life experiences, something that you want to share that happened in your life, that empowered you. You are a name in the martial arts community, and a very respected name in the martial arts community. I think you are what? Am I correct? 7th degree black belt?
Actually, interesting enough, I'm going for my 8th Dan August 21st. April 21st, which is pretty ironic. So I have a lot of stuff coming up. I was never the person, I was never the martial artist where I really cared much about rank, but unfortunately, unfortunately, we have to continue to rank up in order to test our students and promote other people underneath us. Obviously it's a great honor. I'll be tested by my great grandmaster's son, Grandmaster Tae-Sung Kang. And it's a moment that it's pivotal in my life. It's, the book being released and other things in my life that are going to play forward. It's an exciting time. I mean, the past couple of years have been really tough emotionally. I've been brought to my knees more than I can think. But I've always been a person of, I'm not here for myself, I'm here for everyone else. And what does this all mean? And, sometimes we forget to look at our, my experiences aren't always my experience for me. They're for someone else that's in my life. And, to me at this point in my life, it's just so important that, I keep that up front and share that with the world.
Wow.
I was just going to say, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And sorry about your loss of your siblings. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But that's what we do. We take our losses and we turn them into victories. We take our losses, we take those childhood experience, and you're not expected to succeed because of your environment, and you take your environment and you turn it to your superpower.
Right.
Just because you're on the bottom doesn't mean you're losing. And Maggie, that's what I sort of see in your project we're working on in your upcoming book. And one of the things, one of the articles I've seen you write, to lead or be led. I mean, so we have that choice. Which one do you want to be? Do I want to be the leader, or do I want to be led by others? And one other thing I want to say, since this right now is a martial arts program, is that that's the thing about growth. So in every level you grow in is another level of responsibility.
Absolutely.
And if you don't grow to that level, you cannot assume the responsibility. So that is the process, especially when your teacher comes in and your teacher now promotes you, not you taking rank, but you're advanced in rank by a higher authority that's above you. So I think that this is great. This is really awesome. So thank you for sharing that, Maggie. So we're going to reach over to Kim, and Kim Blake. I guess Kim, we just really met in the past year, I think. But it seems like I've adopted her son. I've got a grandniece now. I mean, yeah. It was really funny in Vegas, right? She was in Vegas, and so we go over, and Randy Blake Jr., who's her son, 5-time world kickboxing champion. And one of those young men I've taken on sort of mentor and help. I'm scared to meet her husband, because, I'm thinking he's going to be saying, Mr. Big Stuff, who do you think you are? You're not going to get my love, So, okay, man, got to be cool. Hey, Mr. Blake, how you doing? So it was great, but a beautiful family. And Kim, you got so many things, not just that, but as a martial artist, you're a jiu-jitsu world champion. And so tell us about your chapter. Give us your name, where you're from, your status as a martial artist, and your chapter in the book, and what was that journey like?
Okay, so of course, my name is Kim Blake. I am currently from Owasso, Oklahoma. We moved to Oklahoma in 1999 via a job relocation. So I am a 5th degree black belt in karate. I am a 2nd degree black belt in Kitsugo, which is an American type jiu-jitsu, lots of wrist locks and things of sort. And I am also a 1st degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. And I ended up being the very first female black belt in jiu-jitsu in the state of Oklahoma. My chapter in the book, I am the first chapter. And it is called Getting There From Here, Adjusting to You Become the You of You. I started martial arts at a later age. I started when I was 42 at a dinner in the living room of my best friend and mentor, Dr. Brenda Lloyd Jones. We would always discuss different things over dinner. And one of the things that she asked, was there anything in life that you regret not doing?
Mhm.
And since my sons had just received their black belts, and we had gotten to that moment, my oldest had just begun to drive, and I didn't feel that, I would be able to take them to further classes. And I told her that my dad didn't allow me to do karate. And I told her why. And the reason why was because he felt girls didn't do combat sports. So I adhere to that, being a child that listened to the parents and not being a wayward and coming up with my own plan. So she asked me, well, what's stopping you now? And so after my 42nd birthday, I enrolled in the karate class.
That's
And
amazing.
That's great.
yeah, and that first day was, oh my gosh, I didn't know what was wrong with me. I thought clearly, I have to go and talk to somebody about this, because after 3 or 4 minutes, I was breathing hard. I ran into the restroom and I just sat there like 10 minutes and just like literally cried. I mean, big, ugly tears. And I got myself, cleaned up, and I'm quite sure my eyes were still puffy. And there was a gentleman there. He saw kind of intuitively what was going on, and he kind of looked at me. You can do it. And I looked. We locked eyes. He says, "Come on, you can do it." And from there, I didn't turn around. I came back the next day, because my plan was to go back on that mat, finish out, because my mom says you just don't quit things. But this time I'm just going to excuse myself, like they, going to the bathroom at church. I'm just not going to come back. So
Yeah.
that's what I speak about in my book. Just getting there from here, and looking at becoming a 2-time world champion. I've been to many karate tournaments. I've have many trophies. Those things wouldn't have come about if I'd have taken those tears and walloped in my shame, I guess, or what was wrong with me. And there was nothing wrong with me. I was actually actualizing who I was supposed to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful. And, I'm sitting here listening to that, is that, the moment that you feel like quitting is your moment of greatness. I know in, I guess it was 1977, I had never won anything in my martial arts competition. And I was testing for my purple belt, and I failed the test. And I really felt like it was the black belts didn't like me. And I was quitting. And that was it. And, I went out to my 1976 Monte Carlo, with the swivel seats and the T-top. And I threw all I got to throw that part in. And I threw all my stuff in my car. And I just started teaching as one of the assistant instructors at the school. That's why I was embarrassed and hurt. And I was never coming back again. That was it. And as I'm closing my trunk, one of the students I've been teaching came out and said, so when we fail, we should just quit. And there was several students there. And I remember turning and looking at her. And I said, no. I took myself out of the trunk of my car. I went back. There was a tournament after the test. And I won my first place trophy.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
And that's what I've discovered. At my weakest point, or when you laugh at me, that's when I'm the most dangerous. Because that's the thing that pushes me. When you tell me I cannot, then, or you laugh at me or think I'm at the bottom, that's moves me up because I was that only child picked on, beat up, and only got involved in the martial arts because I didn't want to be beat up anymore.
Right.
Change of life. 2,000 trophies, 2 world titles, 30 books later. God, I'm glad someone laughed at me.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but that's what we're saying is that, no matter where you are in life, and when we can write about it now, and we can laugh about these things now. But just think, Kim, if you had that guy hadn't been there, or if that young lady hadn't came out to my car, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And it's because we decide to push through that we make the world better. So when, to all of our listeners there, when you think you are falling on your sword and that life is going to be over, remember, take a deep breath and move forward. Keep moving, forward. Maggie's story, Kim's story, my story, Natalie's got a great story. All of these things are powerful. Let's go ahead and we're going to switch over. And Natalie, I do want you to share, your story. So this is sort of like us telling our story and how we took that incident that happened in our lives. Now we write about it to let people know it's okay if you're having these things here, if you were born poor, or if you get to this point in your middle of your life and you want to move forward and there's something inside of you that's holding you back, that you just have to have faith, and Natalie, your near-death experience that sort of moved you. I mean, this is powerful. I love it. I really do. This is what makes Elite, is that we bring these incredible things together, and it's happening every day. It's happening to someone every day. And the thing with this, we want to share how we overcame some of those things. Hey, Darell. So hey, welcome. And you're one of our new co-authors, and again, congratulations. And we just met online. This is maybe our second Zoom visual of each other, but that's the thing about technology. We can connect all over the world. I don't have to touch you. We can, we can do Zoom. So Darell, tell us where you're from, your chapter, a little bit about you and what inspired you to write that particular chapter.
Well, my name is Darell Sullins Sr. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Trained in Ishiru Karate. I'm a 6th degree black belt. And our story, Jessie, is similar. I was not a reader coming up. Matter of fact, if it didn't have pictures, I wasn't picking it up. But I learned at some point in my life that reading allows me to get in touch with people I've never met, allow me to go places I've never been. I'm a former member of the United States World Karate Team and the United States Pan American Karate Team. I won a gold medal in the Pan American game in 1981. And I had a self-image that was so low that, like I wrote in my chapter, in chapter 20, is exemplary leadership. I wrote that my self-image was so low, I was tripping ants. And, and I bought into what people were telling me. You wasn't good enough. You wasn't fast enough. You wasn't smart enough. You wasn't athletic enough. And I bought into that. But I was watching Oriental World of Self-Defense. That used to come on Wild World of Sports, and Aaron Bank had that. And I watched these guys in karate, and I said, I can do that. So I went to Corey Recreation Center in Cleveland, Ohio. They had free classes they had judo, they had taekwondo, they had kung fu, whatever it was. I jumped into it. And then we moved into the northeastern part of Cleveland, around the Lee Harvard area, and I went to JFK Rec Center, and they had karate class there. And that's where I met my instructor. At the time, he was a purple belt. He was teaching classes up there for free. And when I went up there, and after the class was over, he came into the changing room and he pointed at me. He said, "You will be good if you practice." I had never heard that from anybody. No man ever told me that. And that was inspired me. And so I started training. And I went to my first competition, I lost. I went to my second, I lost. I went to my third, I lost. And I was going to quit. And the third time when I went home, my mother asked me, how did you do? And I said, I lost and I quit. And that smile left her face and said, "You don't quit. I'll pay the entry fees. You keep going." And from there, it was a change into me. I had all the techniques, I had all the training, the stamina, and all that. And I said, they're going to start being afraid of me. And so I won, and I kept winning, and I kept on winning. And then I'm about 3 or 4 martial arts Hall of Fame, gold medal, I was fighter of the year in Japan. But it all started from somebody encouraging me, but I had to buy into that. And it took me some time to do that. So with this book, and I'm glad I'm not next to any of your chapters in there, because I got up messages today. I'm glad I'm not next to your chapters, but I see commonality in there. And in this book for me, and I'm booked on some radio shows and some podcasts upcoming. This is a conduit for me to express and to teach someone to get over those self-imposed barriers. Reading Amanda's chapter, and she teaches individuals with special needs. Well, I have a daughter who had a cognitive learning disability, and it inspired me and gave me some new perspectives on how to deal with her, even though she had nothing to do with karate. But we were told she would never play, she never run like the other kids. But through the principles of martial arts that I used, she did that. She was MVP of a track team in high school. Wow. And so I've learned not to allow other people's limitations become my reality. And so when I was doing, and I do seminars, I do martial arts seminars on international competition, how to compete Olympic style fighting. And Jessie had reached out to me via the internet, and I didn't know who he was. And I just happened to be doing a seminar, and Grandmaster AJ Perry was there, and we were talking, and he was telling me, he said, you should write a book. I said, I don't know nothing to write a book about writing a book. And I said, this guy, he reached out to me talking about a book, and I mentioned the name. He said, good guy. He said, you ought to call him back. You know? And from there, I'm a member of the Elite Martial Artists in America. It's a learning experience for me. When I submitted my chapter, Grandmaster Bowen said, you need to write your own book. He said, it's good stuff. And the wheels are turning, and I'm just appreciative, and I'm happy to be a part of this book and with the rest of the co-authors. This is out of my realm, but I learned that God says, be strong and courageous, you know, and in his words, he said, I did not give you the power of fear. You know, and if you look at the acronym of fear, FEAR, that's face everything or run, or face everything and rise. So with this guys, with you guys, I can rise in this, and I thank you.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Wow, that is totally amazing. So everyone, if you're watching or you're listening to our podcast, these are real people. Can you relate? Can you relate to the things that we're talking about here? That no, these were not the superstars of the high school basketball team, or we weren't first. I never played sports in school. I never played sports. I was the last. They wouldn't even let me be the water boy on the team. But when we're talking about this, I had this experience that I was taking. I think it was the 12th grade in high school, and it was an economics class, and we were writing a business plan. And this business plan, this idea of a business plan really hit me. And I was a goofball in school, goofball, whichever, still right, but I really, my brains, I got into it and I really worked this plan, and I submitted. The teacher's name was Miss Smith. I don't think she was with her, so it's okay for me to say her name. But she called me to the front of the classroom, and she says, Jessie, did you write this? I'm standing there like the puppy dog, just, waiting for her to pat me on the head and tell me how great it was. Did you write this? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, no, you didn't. And she tore it up in front of the classroom. She tore it up.
That's terrible.
As I talk about this, I still feel the embarrassment that I had, but that was my jet fuel. I'd love to write her and say, ma'am, thank you for doing that, because if I didn't have these negative things that happened to me in my life, then I wouldn't have the power to overcome them. So that's what we're talking about. And we're sharing this and we're talking out loud, so we all have a story. How do we get it out? And Natalie, I want to share yours, and we can wrap up here in just a minute. We just want to, bring you guys on and, celebrate you for being a part of our book, celebrate, the anniversary of the radio podcast, and give, the world a chance to see what it is that we do. We are the real deal. And what does that mean? Does that mean that we work hard to make sure that we rise to the top, and we are not going to go to the bottom? We are constantly blessed through God to receive new information of how we can help to make the world a better place. And that is the purpose of Elite Publications. Someone says, well, is it about the money? Money is a result of doing a good job. That's what that is about. So if you don't do a good job, you don't get paid. So it's about helping people to tell their story and getting people to, getting our readers to read their story, and it makes everyone successful. So Natalie, please, I know your story is always intriguing to see where your story and your fears to now be the international director of bestsellers for authors. So please share that, Natalie.
Well, yeah, it is kind of funny because I was at Morgan Stanley Smith Barney in a whole different career, and I was kind of thrown into publishing to help a friend. And what I saw is, as I learned about publishing, I always felt, and I was told, you're the math and science brain. You're not a good writer. You're not good in English, but you're good at math and science. So stick with that, deal with the numbers. And so when I was in publishing and I was working with authors, I was good at looking at overall picture and saying, oh my gosh, you can take your idea and build a business around it and, make amazing tools that other people can benefit from your knowledge and experience. So I just did that. And then I went on vacation with my family almost 6 years ago in Cuba, and I almost didn't come home. I got sucked into an undertow under a cliff and fought for my life for over an hour. And of course, I came out very grateful, but that pivotal moment in my life completely changed my mindset. I had a certification in mindset mastery. I was if I could get more and more and more teachings in mindset and positive attitudes and, shutting out the negative in your life and trying to be the best person you could be, I was there. And I was just like almost an addict for quite a few years. But when I thought about, my gratefulness of coming out of that situation, I thought, I've got all this good knowledge. Everyone that met me and worked with me said, you're so positive, you're fun to work with, you make this, fun to do, and simple, because I like systems, I like organization. And so continuing to work with authors, it really hit me like, oh my gosh, I need to tell my own story. And then it was my grandmother's 100th birthday, and we created a legacy book for her. And being in publishing, I had the ability to create a whole new template that we hadn't done before. And it turned out to be just an amazing book. And so at that point, I said, you know what? I have to write my own book. It's time for me to tell my story. And it's time for me to share with people that you never want to feel unprepared to go, and unprepared, like Nadia talked about having those important documents in place. But what about your heart-centered messages? What about making sure that your loved ones know that they are loved? Would you write a special note to those people? Would you pick up the phone and, make sure that your relationships are solid? What would you do different, and what would you leave if you knew tomorrow was your last day. And so I started my company, Gifts of Legacy, and wrote my book, Gifts of Legacy, the ultimate blueprint for generations to enjoy. And the first part is my near-death story, but the rest of it is really getting you to assess, are you living your best self? Are you creating your best legacy? Are you looking at how you want to be remembered and putting those things into action now? Because no one's guaranteed tomorrow. So I love meeting with you authors, and I love coming together and putting our specialties in amazing products and services that we can share with the world. So thank you for letting me share. And I know Maggie, I think we're going to be working together coming up on your book launch, and I look forward to that.
Well, this is really, great, everyone. And I really feel good about the podcast today. It makes me talk out loud, and for me to remember the fire that pushes me and to share that fire with you. And each of you have done that today in your story. We're all champions. We're at the top of who we are in our professions, and we're constantly growing. We have not reached the top, anywhere close to the top of what our potentials are. And we've just taken a different direction, is to being able to write about these things, which it just makes you better. So this is really great. So any final words from anyone before I close out? Maggie, any final words?
Thank you for having me. And I'm looking forward to the future.
All right. Awesome. Kim, any final words?
Yeah, I look forward to finishing up and writing my own book, becoming an author, and taking that one chapter and expanding, because it's a whole story that really gets you to the other side of fear that I need to put out there. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. Hey, Darell, any final remarks from you?
Yeah, thank you for the pressure to write my own book.
We don't want to tell that secret. We don't want to tell anybody that that I do have certain things I expect. So congratulations.
No, but I appreciate everything and all the help and encouragement that Elite Publications given to me, and I'm doing more of the speaking now. If I'm doing a seminar in the area, wherever you live, I may email you, look you up. Hey, I'm in town and stuff, because I'm getting booked to do more and more workshops and seminars. So looking forward to it. And thanks for all what you guys do.
Great.
Thank you, guys. So we have two things that two of you have said to spark two of our programs that are coming up. And I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear my gardener coming in the background. So if there's a really loud noise, that's what it is. But we have a class coming up on March 16th that guides you through taking your brain, your ideas, and putting it into place. And you will walk away from that class having your bestseller laid out chapter by chapter. And we really dive deep into the different areas of the book and just help you with the organization, with the tools that should go in. If you have other products or talks, like Darell was just talking about, you make sure that you're planting seeds throughout so they know about that. They want to work with you. Maybe they want you to coach them through their fear. Many different opportunities. The other thing is, if you do not have a publishing package with us, we are offering a really incredible, we send you away on vacation to write your book.
Ooh.
So yeah, we do that. Or if you want to write your book, then we can send you on vacation after the fact. And we've got 6 amazing locations to send you away to. So we're excited. So if you want to know more about that, reach out to either Jessie or myself.
Absolutely.
Maggie's like, sign me up.
Yeah, that's what I love about Maggie. Maggie, she's just a go-getter. And plus, Maggie just received a lifetime membership to the American Martial Arts Alliance. So Maggie, not only that, I want to enlist you to be on our board.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, of what you're bringing. But hey, guys, everybody wants to go on vacation. You're with Elite. So we want to, Natalie's got, 6 vacation spots you can choose from. So, let me know. Let's get on that next book. The doors have opened up for the 24. We're going to be doing this book again next year. So for the 24 book is coming up, and we have a new project, which is called Emerging Leaders. There's not a book out there that really talks about the pandemic. What if it happens again? Why? There's nothing out there that tells people what your experiences were. If you ran a business or a martial arts school, what did you do to succeed? So this is a compilation book of bringing about 25 martial artists together to share their own experiences of how it's called the Emerging Leaders. How did you rise to the top in what you're doing? So you can go to our website. That page should be up by the end of this week. And if you'd like to be a co-author in the Emerging Leaders, you can do that and talk about what did you do. So I'm calling this like the first aid book for if we ever have a pandemic again, we're not caught out there, knocked out because we didn't know what to do, because we never experienced something like that. And nobody is writing or talking about it. So the Emerging Leaders is a book to share your experience in, another talking point about building your businesses. But, that's it for me. And everyone, if you would like to become an author or learn more about author coaching, you can go to elitepublications.org is our website. You can email us at info@elitepublications.org, and you can email us, or if you need to shoot a text, you can text 919-618-8075. Remember, everyone has a story. You just have to get it out. Everyone, this is Jessie Bowen of Elite Publications and my co-host, Natalie McQueen. Be blessed.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.